Hi and welcome to the Gear for Music Orchestral YouTube channel. I'm here today with Nik Carter, a Yamaha artist, looking at the Yamaha Alto Saxophone range. So today we're looking at the YAS280, the YAS480 and the YAS62. So you're going from full student beginner instrument to upgrade semi-professional instrument. Let's have a look at the range. The YAS280 is a great beginner instrument. It has everything you need to start. You've got your full range of keys. You've got your full key work.
Yep, so from low B flat up to high F sharp, which is great. Yeah, I mean, they literally play straight out of the box.
Yes.
You know, the way that the neck's designed, it's really easy blowing. We sort of say free blowing when we talk about some of the more upper sort of range of Yamaha stuff, but they're very, very easy to play, which I think as a beginner student, which it's aimed at.
It's really encouraging, isn't it? So you can make a good noise really quickly, and it really encourages that students to carry on and keep playing. Definitely. You don't want something to be difficult at the beginning. You want to be able to pick it up nice and quickly. Yeah. So you can really start improving your technique straight out of the box, and this instrument's really going to help you do that.
Absolutely, yeah, and it's still got the the great characteristics of all the Yamaha saxophones. With it's got a great sound for a student instrument, and it's got good intonation, and it's it feels nice under the fingers. You've got the same sort of pearls as like they all kind of have.
Yeah.
You've got and it's a nice looking saxophone. It will serve I'm sure it would serve you really well. Up to a professional sort of level, and then taking it from there to maybe something else.
When you are ready to upgrade, you've got a few options in the range. You've got the 480, which is the direct upgrade, or you've got the 62. So when you're looking at these saxophones, you're looking at beginning to look at the more premium features.
Yeah. So
on the 480, we've changed the neck from the 280. So you've got a slightly different neck shape.
Yeah, and a slightly different sort of the shape of it inside, basically. So yeah, the 480 neck, you've got a 62 neck. They have their own individual ones. Differences aesthetically as well. You can see where you've got this wraparound kind of key guard, and also here, I mean, this is a point there. You don't have the adjustable bits, screws, which you do have here, and you do have on here. So should there be sort of things that you need to adapt depending on the mouthpiece you're playing or any intonation things, it's a lot easier for repairers and things. You might start tweaking potentially. You've got the option too, not that you necessarily
more
would.
Professional level, technical sort of small upgrades, which you're not going to need on a 280 when you're a student. Those sort of technical, difficult, like
nuances, maybe.
Yeah, they aren't as important. It's just about getting that solid, consistent sound.
And you're getting the different basics together. I think you've got to take care of a lot of different things before you get to that level. And I think that's the right way to do it. I think rather than just necessarily jumping in sort of you know, with too much sort of information, it's good to just get your core things together, which is the sound, being able to play all the notes on the instrument, and starting to, you know, understand tone and understand, you know, the things that you're playing. You might be learning to read music perhaps at that point as well. So there's all that kind of everything correlating, you know. The other difference is obviously there's no engraving on this one, and there is now on the 480 and on the 62.
Yes.
So they do start to look pretty.
You've got
as it
those
were,
sort
you
of
know.
more premium features within the aesthetics as well as the technicals, which just adds that little bit of sparkle to it, doesn't it, really? The 280 comes in a gold and a silver, as does the 480, whereas the 62 comes in a few more different finishes. So I think you've got an amber, and I think you've got an unlacquered as well. So you got more. You can add a little bit more of your own personality when you sort of upgrade those to those features.
Yeah, and again, these will serve to, like, you know, if you're really wanting to, you know, anywhere up to, I'd say, you know, your grade 8, your diploma, entering into music college and things.
Yeah.
You know, but I mean, I know people that use, you know, pros that use them, that really like them. So I mean, because they are basically the, you know, obviously because you've got your custom models, your EX and Zs.
Yeah.
But you know,
But
this
they're
is up
based
there.
so heavily on that, aren't they? The Yamaha have really taken the design features from the EX and the Z models, and they're sort of cascading them down the range, aren't they? They're taking those bits that are really working for people on the top models and allowing these slightly lower level models to have those really premium features to really upgrade the sound that you can make out of them.
Definitely, it's taking the whole entry level, you know, up to a new level, really. To, you know, with things being taken care of, like
that higher level entry level, isn't
absolutely,
it? It's like entry level plus.
Yeah, definitely, and it just again, like structurally and things that the improvements that we see on the custom models, as you say, it's filtered down. So things like your, you know, the posts and the work, you know, how solid something feels. Again, you know, you've got that. You know, it's the quality difference. That's the other thing, actually, the weight of that.
Yes.
It's
really
lighter
quite light
than the others, which is great, because I think if you're, you know, if it's a child perhaps, or someone, you know, this, you know, and actually getting used to it anyways, if you're an adult who's starting and wants to start like that, it's anywhere to build up the sort of...
There can be sort of a lot of pressure on your neck, like,
and your back
especially,
links,
so you need to sort of think about your posture and having that little bit of a lightweight instrument, especially if you're playing stood up with sort of... or even if you're playing sat down, sort of having that lighter weight, just it helps it easier to practice for longer. And when you're starting out, those sort of anything to help you practice and stop the inhibitors to doing that, it's really, really good feature.
Definitely, yeah. And they still, I mean, but as you can see, the design and the aesthetics of them, like when you look at the kind of work around the E flat and C, you know, this is the same kind of shape as like up where your Zs are, which is, you know, interesting. It's just, they're really nice, you know. I think
just makes it more ergonomic, easier to get to those keys, and when you're able to use those, they've really thought about those features.
Definitely. I mean, it's all of it, from it being easy to blow to everything being sort of underneath your hands. I mean, the next step I'm just looking at now, where you've got your front F here. We have a pearl obviously on the student one, which is a good idea, because actually, you know,
helps you
one
feel
can be
it
more
a little bit
clumsy
better.
in a sense when you first start and stuff, and you're kind of learning where the notes are and which keys press what. And then with the 480 and with the 62, and then obviously up to the others, you have this fork F.
Which is just that little bit ergonomic, and when you are doing maybe faster passages or just moving through things quickly, it just does make it a little bit easier to do those runs.
Literally more under the fingers,
you might not need that at the sort of 280 level. just being able to be sure where your fingers are, where you're going with things is just, you just got that reliability and comfortableness.
Yeah, it's not like overcomplicating it, and it's the same with here where you've got this rocking mechanism on the C sharp and things, which is to make it sort of easier. But again, it's not essential when starting with this. It's, you know, you basically just want the fundamentals with it, and it's the same on the 480 as well. They've you know, upgraded the same kind of mechanism.
So you're really getting some more of the premium features on the 480. It's quickly going upwards. You're quickly getting some really nice features that are shared between the two.
Yeah.
When you're talking about resonance and how the sound goes through, you've obviously on the bracing on the back, you've got sort of more touch points just to have a little bit more sturdiness and be a bit more robust. But obviously when you get to the sort of high levels, you've got the sort of lesser touch points just to help that resonance. And
same with these here as well.
And
the braces are a bit more reinforced here. Again, that they're points on which this Yamaha have sort of found that you're really getting a lot more resonance, and the same around the neck work and things. You know, they've worked on things like that where they seem to be certain points upon the saxophone where you're getting that, you know, and when you progress as well, the way that you're playing and putting more air through and projecting more, you become a stronger player the longer you do it. And I think those things then accentuate that, and that's what they've done with this. You know, I think it's actually it's funny, isn't it? It's almost like the phrase "less is more." The fact that they've considered not overcomplicating something, and I think for, you know, with students and things, like even just playing like around here and stuff, you know, if you misfire, you know, you're only going to press C sharp, you press it, you press B flat, you press it. It's not, whereas here, you know, you're going to be required perhaps to play something more chromatic or something more. So it's really well thought out, the fact that is more basic, but in a way that works for it. That's a benefit, I think, as opposed to, you know, just going, oh, we can just put all this on that. It would be too much, I think, for someone. So I think that's a really intelligent sort of well thought out process.
It's really considered that actually this is the features that you need when you're beginning. Let's not give them too much. Let's not overcomplicate things in a way that could be overwhelming or that could actually hinder you when you're beginning. Whereas then it becomes more of a benefit when you do upgrade and you do get those extra features. You can really sort of hone your techniques, hone your sound, and you've got that benefit there.
Yeah, and it really allows you to as well. I think that's the thing. And there's, you know, when you want things adjusting and stuff, that tends to happen. And also because you'd be probably tending to do more when you progress, you might be playing in more bands. So say you're just learning one-on-one with a tutor at the minute when you're on this. And then suddenly it's like, oh, you can be in your school band, which could be a little, you know, concert band or swing band or, you know, big band kind of vibe. But then when you start traveling about with it and perhaps going to, I don't know, like your local youth orchestra or to other things, you know, like the big bands, other kind of, or, you know, I don't know, anything, you know, that would require you to sort of play travelling. I think having something more robust and things that's where it comes into play, and they're thinking about that as well. And then when you do need things adjusting, you know, as I say, repairers swear by them, you know, they love them because they can get in there and adjust things for you. If something goes slightly out or whatever, it happens, you know. But with the Yamahas, they're so consistent like that, it's very rare to have anything. And if it does, it's a very quick fix, you know, which is nice, you know.
Yeah, repairers love them.
Yeah, we like to keep repairers happy. I do. I like to keep my repairer happy.
It's always good to have a good repairer on your side, on your team.
Absolutely, yeah.
So with the YAS280, YAS280, obviously it is for students, and you've got this key guard that really protects the bell keys because you've got it in an integrated sort of J shape, really. It really protects those keys, so if you do get a little bit clumsy or you knock it against something because you're moving around, it really does help protect it from damage.
Absolutely. I think especially when you start playing in bands and orchestras, the saxophone will tend to be on your side here.
Yes.
And if you're sat in a section or next to anyone, And sometimes the chairs, you know, the ones with the extra bit of metal on the side,
Yeah.
sometimes it's like a nightmare for saxes and things, and you're picking it up to do it, and then you're taking some music off your stand,
Yeah.
or they just, you know, they're hanging on the sling.
So easy.
So yeah, it's really well thought out, and they're nice and strong like that, and especially around here, because anything that starts to leak, well, of course, when I say leak, is when the pads aren't seating properly on the tone holes.
Yeah, yeah.
You know, this protects it, and again, that's another thing that benefits we're talking about the low notes on how they've improved the low notes on all of them.
Yeah, yeah.
And,
so they've
ties
improved
in
the
nicely,
mechanism, haven't
like,
they?
Yeah.
So yeah, you've got an improved mechanism for the low notes. So it is that bit easier across the range, that when you are using those low notes, which can be notoriously difficult to sort of like
to let them speak. I mean, it is hard because it's more air that's coming down. But again, that ties in with the thought behind the necks on all of them, from being really sort of easier, free blowing to be able to create the sound. Obviously, then the improvement on the keywork, that it's because if you're pushing them down, you want to know that it's going to close. You want to know that that's going to seat properly to allow, you know, the instrument to speak, you know, and then knowing that it's, you know, with the guard and things, it's protected. Every single element of design and thought process, from where the mouthpiece attaches, and you mentioned as well the mouthpiece being a Yamaha 4C.
Yeah, so you get a Yamaha 4C with all three of these come standard in the box. So obviously that's great because you can play it straight out of the box.
Yes, yeah.
You get it as a present, you can pull it out and start going straight away, which we all want to when you've got a new instrument. It's so exciting.
Yeah.
But it really shows Yamaha's commitment to that mouthpiece and the engineering that they've put into it. They trust it to be the right mouthpiece across their whole range. It's a great place to start. It's a really easy mouthpiece to get a really nice sound out of. But they also trust it with the 480 and the 62 as well, and that they trust that it is really going to get you the best sound out of your instrument until you want to change it yourself. And you might want to go to a metal mouthpiece or have those sort of smaller adjustments by having a wider tip opening and things like that are definitely more personal. But a 4C will really get it to have a good start straight out of the box.
Definitely, and it's going to speak for how it's, you know, like I say, it's going to work how it should with that mouthpiece specifically. You can then have space to, as you say, go on and try different things, but it's a great place to start.
Yeah.
And like you say, just the fact that they're on all the instruments is testimony to it, really. And I think they've not tried to go anywhere further. I think they understand, you know, we all have different shaped mouths, different shaped lips, our throats, the way that we produce the sound. I mean, someone said to me, the saxophone is like the closest instrument to the human voice. And with that, it can be so expressionate. So I think what they've done there is they've got a mouthpiece that does what it says on the tin. It's gonna get you playing the instrument like that and go, okay, this is working now. And then they leave it to you to where you're going to go with that, you know. And I think as a student, to start with on the 280, sorry, bang on, you know, that's exactly what you want. And again, here, if you've got something like that, if you've just moved on to it and you're not at the stage where you want to change your mouthpiece because you're happy with it, you know that it's going to work. Yeah. You know, you're just going to, if you've had one of these and you get one of these, you know that you're just going to have a cleaner 4C, you know.
Yeah, you're just going to get a brand new shiny one.
You know, and it's always handy to have spares, you know, as well. So, yeah.
Less bite marks in it.
Absolutely, yeah.
It really is a great range of instruments. You've really a great place to start and a great place to upgrade to as well. And they're all excellently built, so solid and stable, and they will really just look after you as a player as well as you look after them. Yeah, absolutely. Definitely, yeah. I think they serve really well, and it's a brilliant place to start. And I think that's the most important part, is actually when you're starting and you want to try and make a sound, and there's nothing worse. I can remember, you know, if you play a school instrument or something, you know, back in the day, it's not necessarily of good quality, or it's been broken or bashed around or something. It's really difficult. And when you get something like this and it plays straight away, that just gives that immediate confidence. And if someone says, oh, that sounds nice, it gives you that enthusiasm. And then with that, it all builds.
And as I say, and then moving on to the,
you get the
the
more
different
premium
instruments,
features.
the different models and things, it's a great path to be on, you know. But no, Yamaha have got it covered, you know, for sure.
Definitely. Well, thank you so much for talking to us about the Yamaha saxophone range. If you have any more questions about the saxophones, please leave us a comment below, and otherwise subscribe for more content like this. Thank you.